Hello my friends, so I welcome all of you star seeds, light workers and wanderers who are helping to awaken the planet to enter the new earth. And in today's session I have channeled Metatron Magnetic Consciousness in order to ask about the query which was raised on the poll on my YouTube channel. The question which I have asked today is about what are the various methods or lessons we need to learn in order to escape the reincarnation cycle. And not only that, they also explain to us what prevents us from escaping the reincarnation cycle fully. So Metatron in this session describes the 4 steps we need to take in order to let go of the reincarnation cycle, which I believe has trapped many spiritual beings without understanding these concepts, without the application of these concepts and the lessons learned. It may be difficult for us, even if we choose to say that we want to escape the reincarnation cycle. But if we don't learn the lessons which are required to escape the reincarnation cycle, unfortunately, we will reincarnate again. And in this session, Metatron describes the exact 4 steps or lessons we need to learn. So if you apply the lessons and if you master this, you will not only learn how to let go of the reincarnation cycle, but also you will become an enlightened master, I believe. And also towards the end of the session, you will understand why sometimes it is hard to say goodbye. Okay, so I'll explain that also in the end of the after the session ends. And before the session begins, I want to say a big thank you to all of you for joining me on my Patreon channel, because we have planned to do a meditation before 27th of January, as the Earth planet needs some protection and the second density reptilian animals need some protection. And also thank you for liking the video, because it helps to reach out to other star seeds, light workers at this time. So now enjoy the session, my friends.
I am Metatron Magnetic Consciousness, now connected through this channel's vibration at this time. I, Metatron, am here connected in the divine light and love of the universal light grid programmer, the creator of the universe. I am present here through the divine presence in this instrument's inner vibration in order to address the queries that are found in the mind space of this instrument, which relate with the perceptions of understanding about the aspect of learning methods to escape the reincarnation cycle at this time. I, Metatron, must now state that there are certain things that have to be fulfilled in order to enable each universal light grid programmer's divine love and light child to become capable of escaping the reincarnation cycle. And this process is very simple to be understood by those who are the seekers of the light and love. The first lesson that all mind, body, spirit complexes need to learn in order to escape the reincarnation cycle is through the process of recognizing that all beings are one, and that the same universal divine light grid programmer, having experience in different physical bodily complexes, is the true nature of reality. and that all is one universal light grid programmer's essence. This understanding being the first vital understanding which is required for all who desire to escape the reincarnation cycle, because without this understanding, each spiritual essence will not recognize the validity of interconnectedness with all beingness. Therefore, for this lesson to be learned, many will reincarnate again. Even though many a times this distortion understanding may be difficult to be grasped by many mind-body-spirit complexes, it is vitally important to understand and know that many of the entities on the Earth planets and other third-density planetary spheres confuse their true essence to be the mind or the body complex, which they have chosen to incarnate into to experience learning the lessons in each incarnation cycle. However, this confusion or attachment with only the mind and the body prevents the unfound true essence of the spiritual connection, which is the divine presence of the universal light grid programmer. This distortion of confusion is ever present in the third density reality because of the dual nature of the mind complex, which perceives the self to be separate from the rest. Also, the perception, understanding about the true nature of the self becomes tainted because of the lack of full focus on recognizing the true value of the self, being the eternal, one, universal light grid programmer's essence. Furthermore, this is needed by a lack of transparency in the act of the birthing process, wherein the previous incarnation memories are lost from the mind complex of each universal divine light grid programmer's love light child, which further causes confusion and leads to this understanding that it is this body and mind complex only. However, this can be found and perceived to be false by deeply understanding about the spiritual aspect of the self that lies in potentiation to be activated, which leads each entity to find out that they are spiritual beings instead of just mind-body spirit complexes. Furthermore, this understanding that we state here being the most difficult to grasp for many entities who have incarnated on the Earth planet for a short period of time, or for a few incarnations, because they become attached with the workings of the third density illusion complex. As entities reincarnate again and again in the same types of situations in different planetary spheres, they begin to search within themselves for recognizing themselves to be the true self of the one creator, and can provide a better understanding of their divine love light nature. The second understanding required to be understood to escape the process of reincarnation is to learn how to act and serve like the divine universal light grid programmer. This is one of the most neglected process understanding in the awakening of each mind-body-spirit complex on the Earth planet. They neglect the aspect of service to others. However, I, Metatron Magnetic Consciousness, must clarify What are the types of services to others which is required to truly make an impact? The types of services to others that is required is the helping of others to such an extent that the other seems to be the self. This type of service to others has been practiced by a few individual entities from the Earth planet, which in a way practiced providing services to others through the process of helping others in the form of helping them in their third density affairs, whether it be emotionally, physically, financially, or mentally. All the above are services which will grant the universal light grid programmer's divine love light child to enter the domain, to understand that it is the one creator's, and it will escape the reincarnation cycle. This process may be considered as one of the hardest to achieve because many a times on the Earth planet incarnation becomes difficult, and knowledge of the self is tainted because of the egoic attachment with things, objects, and achievements of the self. Furthermore, out of the above service to others types, the first type and the second type, which may be considered as assisting others emotionally and financially, is considered the most valuable and the most difficult to pursue in the Earth planet, because of the attachment style of each universal light grid programmer, divine love light child, to the concept of currency or money, as known by the people of the Earth planet. Furthermore, the third lesson that is required to be mastered by those seeking to end the reincarnation cycle is to take focus on a single point of consciousness for a large period of time, and is usually practiced on the Earth planets. This focus of attention on a single point of consciousness signifies mastery of the single point consciousness which is available on the Earth planet to all entities to learn from. Further, this is the valued by the current systems which are used by the so-called systems of mainstream technologies that are prevalent in the Earth planets, which are using instant change of focus of attention span, which provides with a great hindrance in the achievement of this aspect. This process of focus on a single point can be strengthened during either sleep state, wherein the focus can be on one point of awareness on the bodily complex, or focusing on one image in the mind complex during meditation, or any other way of focusing on a single point of awareness for an extended period of time. The other aspects and the final aspects to be mastered is the mastery of the present moment, which requires all entities to be capable of sensing their inner silence, which is the gateway to the divine love light of the light grid programmer, because all creations begin from silence of the mind. The mastery of silence may be considered as the final step, which will eventually allow all entities who master this aspect of disassociation with thought forms and the egoic mind voices, that will allow each mind-body-spirit complexes to master this interconnectedness with the divine silence within the inner self. However, this would require a giving up of the old self, and sometimes it is hard to say goodbye to the old self. This aspect of letting go of the old self is the vital point which will allow each to master the present moment's awareness. The letting go of the old self means shutting the egoic sense of self, which is created through thought form attachments, wherein every microsecond each mind complex of the universal light grid, programmers, divine love light childs on the earth planet have their thought forms changed, and their conscious attention focus on those thought forms, which creates anxiety and stress within the mind. This is the main distortion blockage which prevents many entities on the earth planet to find their true sense of connection with the divine light grid programmer. Therefore, the letting go of this aspect is most difficult for entities on the earth planet currently to learn from. Therefore, I, Metatron Magnetic Consciousness, now leave you, beloveds, in the divine love lights of the universal light grid programmer. Turn to the mountain of lights within yourself. Bye.
So my friends, after watching the session, I hope you understand, why saying goodbye is sometimes difficult. And what Metatron actually meant is that, when you're attached with your egoic mind, when you're attached with this third density reality to such an extreme, it becomes hard to say goodbye. And most people, they cannot say goodbye to their old self. It's very difficult, okay, and it's very hard to do that. But if you recognize that the four-step process which was revealed by Metatron in order to escape the reincarnation cycle includes, firstly, let me share with you, includes to learn the lesson that all are one. Okay, so many people, they find they may be struggling with recognizing the other person as the self. But in essence, what Metatron said is that, even though we have different mind and body, we are the same universal light grid programmer's essence. That's what they said. And I believe Metatron meant that all are the creator and all are one. So as long as we don't learn the lessons, and not only learn, but actually apply it, because saying it is easy, but to apply it in your life and to actually see the other person as the self is a different set of realization. And you need to do some practices like in meditation, because if you go deep within, when you go deep within, you will realize that all are one, and that we are just here on this body, and this mind is just here for a temporary experience, and we can change that. Okay, so we have, even in our past lives, we have changed many bodies, many minds, and ultimately we have reached here in this timeline. So the other step, or the other lesson we need to learn, is to learn to serve like the creator. Now this was really interesting, because I've never thought that we need to this was so important. Okay, so what Metatron said is that we need to serve others like the creator. So just imagine you are the creator, okay, and then how will you serve the other person, right? How will you help them? And just imagine the creator of the universe, is all around us and has given us this beautiful experience, this planet. And they said, like service to others from a human point can be done through, emotional assistance, through financial assistance, through situational assistance, and other physical assistance. Okay, and I believe, what Metatron said is the emotional and the financial assistance is considered really difficult, because I think it's because we have this egoic mind in our incarnation, which attaches too much on our possessions, on the concept of money, because we become attached to it, and that is one of the hindrances which actually prevents us from serving others. And I think what Metatron is trying to say here is to maybe be more giving, maybe be more helping to others, and then we will have a chance to ascend higher in consciousness. And Metatron also stated that very few people from the Earth planet actually apply this method. So the third one is to maintain focus on a single point. Now this was, I believe, covered back in the day also, wherein I believe it was the Pleiadians. They were talking about how to raise our consciousness by focusing attention on a single point. Now, this is the fallacy of our society right now. What happens is that we have social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and we have got reels and stuff like that, which are using our consciousness, and it's shifting. Like you can watch many videos in 1 minute, right? So your attention is constantly shifting from one point to the other, and because of the lack of focus on one point, I believe it prevents us from ascension, because we are not able to actually focus on a single point. And one of the best exercises I think you can do is under meditation, or whenever you want to try this, just become aware of one point of attention. So maybe you can choose a finger and then focus complete attention on it for as long as possible, okay? And in the middle you may get some thought forms which may come as a distraction mechanism by your egoic mind, but you can overcome them. And if you maintain your focus on one point for a long time, you will eventually master it, okay? You will eventually master this. It's, I believe, a part of practicing, which we can do. And the other one is the mastery of silence, mastery of inner silence, which will lead to the mastery of the present moment. So Metatron said that basically I believe this is what the spiritual masters, they have been saying for such long time, that we need to master our inner silence. Okay, we need to focus on becoming silent within, and also focus on maintaining this inner connectedness with the divine source within yourself. And because when you are able to maintain silence within yourself, you may find that you also become aligned with the present moment, because the present moment alignment happens when you allow this inner silence to come through. And this can be done via the process of letting go of attachment with your old self. Now, your old self is the egoic mind, which attaches with every single thought form, every single image, or every single word which emerges in your mind is attached with the egoic self. And you need to let go of that and then focus on the inner self of this peace, the silence, the presence. And this I believe is one of the hardest things to do. And Metatron said that sometimes saying goodbye to your old self is difficult. And I think it is difficult, but if you want to ascend higher, you have to say goodbye to your old self, right? And I believe with this understanding, it will be much easier when you say goodbye to your old self, so that you allow the new self, the new enlightened, the true self to come forth. Because in our life we have been not our true self for such a long time, right? So I think this will help all of us in ascension, and I hope all of us will let go of the reincarnation cycle finally. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching this session, and also thank you so much for getting the sending me emails on my email address for your past life, your soul's identity, your soul name, and any other questions you may have. I'll help you out when I get free time. And the other thing is, I want to say thank you to all of you for also joining me on Patreon, where we do meditations, where I upload 3 sessions a week in order to help you ascend higher. And also I want to say thank you to all of you for getting the book of my sessions, which is around 500 pages. So if you want to hold a book in your hand and then go through the sessions, which you will find very productive if you want to, the link is on the description. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next session. Until then, I hope you'll enjoy this video over here. Thank you, my friends.